Hello, everybody. I hope you can hear me. The reason why I'm wearing this mask is not because I'm afraid, but because I'm not important. What I'm about to say, however, may be relevant to some of us. Also, because this is a fashion mask. I see it as a fashion trend that's going to be up and coming in the next 15 or 20 years. Uh, As you can see, my little boy over here is quite curious about my talk because it's the first time he's seen me do it, and I figured I'd do it too. Because children will have to decide whether this will come in black or hot pink or neon green, and along with their whether they want their Kevlar jackets or sweatshirts, maybe even a high, really one of those like John Wick materials for undergarments for children, because that's the world that we're leaving behind for them. Not so much me, and not so much my two little muskets over here, my boy and my girl, who I have woken up by talking through this little thing. I'll tell you, it's not comfortable, and it's a fucking rainforest in my face right now because it's humid and it's all smoking up. Anyway. So, but this will be how life will be like for us, and I wanted to get used to that. Um, I wanted to talk a little bit about, and I wanted just wanted to make it easy because it's so difficult to discuss what you want to discuss these days. And I wanted to go alphabetically, so today I'm just going to say authoritarianism. That's the word of the day. No word of the year, really. I mean, maybe word of the last 5 years or something. And this is not just in the United States. It's not really just in India or Russia or Turkey or Brazil or um, there are some African countries that still have dictators there. There, well, there's Syria, North Korea. Like these are the countries where the rise of authoritarianism has happened. Did I say India and the United States? Those two. I mean, there's always China, but and between China, United States, and India, that's about half of the world's population. So yeah, the numbers matter in these countries about the suffering of the people, about the plight of the common people, and the rise of authoritarianism. And we have to ask why that happens. Why is there authoritarianism? Why is there the strong man rise? And simply put, it's because there are no actual strong men out there leading their countries, leading their people, and really understanding the value of human beings, valuing human beings, allowing them to thrive, giving them the opportunities to thrive. These, that's what a leader does. That's what a democratic leader would do. That's even theoretically what a good communist leader would do. But not somebody who is authoritarian, because somebody who's authoritarian presumptively uh, relies on keeping and using and exploiting his power or her power. Actually, not her. There are really, I mean, can you think of any authoritarian women? No. That. I think we'll talk about that when we get to W or something. It's a whole topic. And well, I could have talked about abortion with A, but that's one part of the women debate, which is in and of itself probably the quintessential um, human rights debate that accelerated the modern um, movement of individual rights. Um, in the Western world, in the Eastern world, in the world. So back to authoritarianism. This authoritarianism has risen because there's been a vacuum of real leadership that really doesn't look inward and search for power, um, and seek out these places of power to implement narrowly tailored ideologies that work for them, their sycophants, and the people who would benefit, which, 99.9% of the time happens to be the people who are behind the money machines and who wish to get more and more money in their banks. And as we have seen with the wealth, the wealth just the wealth disparity all over the world, not just in the United States, not just in India, but there are wealth disparities all over the world. Even in the developing world, these disparities are growing, and and that's because of this strongman attitude, which is entirely self-serving, entirely selfish, entirely consumed with this insatiable appetite uh, to take and keep, which and hoard. These are a nihilistic and survivalist uh, tactics, very quite primitive, actually, quite instinctive, and brings out these savage parts of us that that are just like lathered on with yachts and airplanes, but and mansions and everything, but it's really quite barbaric. It's barbaric to have a non-equal society, a society that's not driven by merit, a society where no one feels the excitement to walk out and say something, to dream to be a writer or a painter like I decided I wanted to be. After going to law school and deciding that being a prosecutor, which I tried, it's just it's eaten up by this power hungriness, this egocentrism that just eats up everything that is true and justiciable in this world. And so the world should be where I am allowed, and anybody like me, or anybody not like me, allowed to do what we were meant to do, what we dream of doing, and for not just a small group of people, but everybody be invested in each other's well-being. That's what community is. That's what a people are. And until we as a people, as human beings, really rise up and take that responsibility, say that we are important, and not just me, not just I am important, but my sister is important, and my brother is important, and their friend is important, and a stranger is important, and their values are important, and their desires are important, and their suffering is suffering. And if we don't see that, if we continue to be self-serving, this is going to be the future. This is going to be what we're going to be wearing, whether in pink or neon. You get the point. This is what we're going to be down to. And if you have long hair with this, by the way, and you have to choose between these masks, see, I had to wear a hat. I had to wear a hat. You have to wear a hat. Otherwise, I look like, look like a madman, which I maybe do anyway. But, I'm telling you, I'm starting something here where we're going to be wearing this while we are talking in our houses, and we're going to be freaking out all our pets, and we're going to be like just having this fucking wet sauna experience happening all the time. And that's going to be the new normal, and that's just the fashion part of it. Well, yeah, that's what I have to say about authoritarianism. I think I'm going to leave it at that. I'd like to thank you all for getting to the very end of it. If you wanted to subscribe, that'd be amazing. If not, that's okay too. But I'll be wearing masks and talking about things. I think next video I'll do would be, see what's it would be. Have any ideas?